Tonight on Patriots This Week. It was during a homecoming when the Patriots arrived as AFC East champions.
Congratulations. Okay, all the credit goes to you guys.
A business trip to the Meadowlands turned into a mismatch between Gang Green and May the Magnificent.
Throws it left, easy pitch and catch, uncontested. Throws it toward the end zone. The pass with a diving reception. Touchdown, Patriots.
Coach said unfinished business. You want to go 8-0 on the road. We accomplished that today.
Your best players have to play good in order for you to win.
Next up is a feisty Dolphins team whose season will be done after Sunday, but the Patriots believe they will be playing long after that.
My definition of a tough football team is running the ball and controlling the clock. So I think if we could do that, that's a great recipe for postseason.
This is Patriots This Week.
And hi, everybody, a happy new year, and welcome to the Bob's Discount Furniture Studio and another edition of Patriots This Week, as the New England Patriots have wrapped up the AFC East Division Championship and now get set for the season finale against the Miami Dolphins. Bob Socci with Mike Dussault filling in for Scott Zolak. He's going to be a little more animated, excitable today, and the always steady and smooth Brian Hoyer. And guys, let's go back to last weekend. The Jets playing the Patriots in the Meadowlands. New York, of course, a team that's suffered through a 3-win season. Not much expected of them, but I think a lot of people concerned about how the Patriots would come out with a long list of injuries, Brian, and they came out ready to play, and it was an annihilation.
Yeah, I think it shows the standard that they play with. It doesn't matter who's in front of them, what the opponent is, what their record is. They're going to come out and take care of business, and boy, did they do it from the opening drive. I thought Josh McDaniels did a tremendous job formulating packages to deal with the injuries. It shows their maturity to come in and say, we're not going to play down to the opponent. We're going to play to our standard the entire game.
They're perfect for Drake May, really maybe the claim to the MVP individually with that performance, contrasting it to what happened on Monday night with Matthew Stafford. We'll get into that a bit later. 5 touchdown passes, 5 different receivers in 19 completions, only a couple of incompletions, and a 157 quarterback rating.
Bob, just an outstanding performance by Drake. And I go back to the summer when we didn't know quite what to expect from Drake May in year 2. You brought in Josh McDaniels. You knew to be a little bit more on the quarterback this year. And even those early couple weeks, a little bit up and down. But this game, to me, I want to call it a crowning achievement. They still have a little ways to go. But just him at his absolute best, Jets had no chance.
And speaking of those 5 touchdown passes, Brian, one of them to the rookie Efton Chisholm. And while Stephon Diggs had a 100-yard day for the Patriots in the game against the Jets, what I thought was most encouraging looking forward beyond 2025 is how well Kyle Williams ran his routes, different kind of routes than we've seen from him, and the performance of Chisholm.
It was a great opportunity for those young guys to get some work, and the thing that was impressive to me was Drake believed in them the same way he's believed in these other big-time guys all day long. The touchdown pass to Chisholm, he had about that much of a window to throw it in there and only put it where Chiz could catch it, and the thing that I loved about that play was the excitement that the team got for him having that first touchdown. So it's a unique group of guys, and I like the fact that when they had to step up, albeit it wasn't a necessary have-to-win game, got those guys some good play time, and they came out and executed.
Defensively for the Patriots, Mike, what did you like about their performance and the mindset, the physicality right from the outset?
Yeah, it goes a lot of what Brian was just saying, giving some of these guys that you might have to count on in the playoffs. There's no, assurance that Robert Spillane is coming back, or even, Harold Landry, another guy that they finally sat out. I think these guys are going to need that experience. Some of these guys like Corey Durden, who are usually depth players, but getting an opportunity now, you really might have to count on those guys once you get into the playoffs. So that experience, the way there wasn't any drop-off, they played with really good energy, I think it's a good sign.
We could talk about the opponent all we want. It's about the Patriots, and I thought that was their most complete game. You go back to the defense. There was a hit by Christian Gonzalez on John Mechie, and it would have been very easy for him in a game like this to kind of just go and knock him down. He went and hit him with such a force, and I love that from your top corner, just going out there and setting the tone. This is a guy who took on Derrick Henry one-on-one a few weeks ago, and I just see Mike Vrabel in every facet of the way the Patriots play. They're tough. They have a standard that they want to live up to, and when they don't meet that standard, they're disappointed in themselves. So they have now taken the culture and really the players have embraced it and have the control of it, and they hold each other to that standard.
And they kept the standard high right until the last second elapsed off the clock in the first half. There was no taking the foot off the gas until at least post-halftime.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like a throwback victory where they kept
It's the Jets, right?
It's the Jets, and I got to say, I've been doing a project with 85 Patriots. They always hate the Jets. Everybody in Patriots history, they've got a special spot in their heart for the Jets, but the Jets are a team that they're a little bit in disarray right now, but you just love how they came out, took advantage of it, didn't mess around. Touchdown, interception, touchdown, and they were on their way.
And of course, the best thing about the win is that they get to celebrate both the victory over the Jets, and then en route back to Foxborough to Gillette Stadium, they get a chance to celebrate a win by the Eagles of all people. As Kayla Von Chason said, first time I was rooting for the Eagles over the Bills, and the Patriots did celebrate. What did you think of the caps and T-shirts coming out here at Gillette?
It was an incredible moment, and I was sitting there with David Anders today doing our podcast. He goes, "Do you realize none of those guys have won an AFC East championship?" And I was like, man, it's hard to believe. I know it's been a while, but the last one in 2019, you think there'd be maybe someone remaining. There wasn't, and so I love that they got together, they celebrated. I love that we got to see the behind the scenes. But as Vrabel said, we'll enjoy it tonight. We have much bigger goals ahead of us. But that was the first goal he set, to go from what they were last year to what it is now. A division champ is truly incredible.
David Andrews gave you the answer to a Mike Vrabel question to his team in a meeting before the season began, when he asked them, how many of you have won a division championship as a New England Patriot, and then went on to talk about building this program their own way. They were going to do it differently. This was their program to build. It's not recreating the old Patriot way, so to speak.
Yeah, no, a lot of turnover this year, and they hit on free agency. They hit on the draft. They hit on the coaches. I mean, what a mix of the coaching staff with, a guy like Doug Marrone has been an NFL head coach. I think we forget that sometimes. And the offensive line has been such an issue for this team the past few years. And, getting that right, giving Drake the time that he needs, it's just all clicked this season. Every button that Mike Vrabel has pushed. And, as Brian said, we want to win the division. We also want to host home playoff games. Well, they're going to do that as well this year, compete for championships. I think they're going to compete for a championship this year, too.
Vidarian Lowe, Ben Brown, left side of the offensive line. What did you think of their play?
Thought they played incredible. I mean, I watched the coaches' tape. I thought they did a tremendous job. Look, I've said this all along. One of the best things that Josh does with his scheme is when you come up with a pass play for Josh McDaniels, the first question he asks you when Tom and I would take, hey, we saw, the Green Bay Packers run this route. Well, how are we going to protect it? That's the first thing in his mind when it comes to developing plays. And so he did a tremendous job in this game, I think, getting those guys in the right positions, but also when they were one-on-one, they handled their own. And I think you talked about Doug Marrone, one of, a legendary offensive line coach, not only just a head coach, but formulating this staff together. Vrabel doing such a tremendous job. A bunch of guys who never worked with Josh before, and they've come together. Talked to Josh about it a few weeks ago, and he just praised every single one of them for what they've come in and done, but also what they've been able to teach him as well.
Matt Collins, who's been an instrumental part of the offense in a lot of different ways, including in the run game. They used Thayer Munford as the extra tight end, a jumbo tight end, an extra tackle in essence. They even moved around him a little bit in motion at times.
Yeah, it seems like this is something they're going to have to figure out for the playoffs. I mean, Matt Collins is a huge part. I mean, he played the most snaps of any of the wide receivers in that room. We know what he does in the blocking game. We know he's willing to, take the top off the defense, run down the field, does the dirty work. So I think that's part of what the plan is going to be. Maybe it's a little more two tight ends, but yeah, I don't think there's a one-for-one replacement for Matt Collins. It's a tough injury to deal with at this time of the season.
Ramondre Stevenson, the moves he's shown, the spring in his step the last couple of weeks, how important is that for this team going forward?
It's huge. I think the 1-2 punch of those guys, they have a very unique skill set about them, separately, but the one thing that I love is they're both getting involved in the passing game as well. So obviously a beautiful touchdown to Mondre. There was another play where Mondre kind of scooted out through the line of scrimmage. We have obviously seen Travion Henderson be involved in the passing game, and they both have a very unique running style. I would say Travion is just this guy, you're waiting for him to get that one little opening and he can be gone, but he's also powerful, whereas Mondre's more of a shifty slasher type runner, and having guys who have a different skill set, I think that goes in mind when Josh is calling plays. All right, who's in the game? It's Mondre. I'm going to call this set of plays. Who's in the game? It's Travion. I'm going to call maybe more of these gap or counter scheme plays where we can get him, and if we get him to that second level, he's either taking it to the house or he's punishing the secondary. So it's great to have both of those guys back and playing some of their best football right now.
We'll be back with more right after this.
Patriots This Week is brought Brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots. By DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots. And by Sports Illustrated Tickets, 50 million sports, concerts, and theater tickets. 0 fees. Fans deserve better. Visit sitickets.com today.
Cross Insurance Player of the Week is Del Pettis. The 5'11", 200-pound safety is in his second year with the Patriots. The Alabama native graduated Troy University. His mom played basketball, and his dad played football at Alabama A&M. The 24-year-old recorded his first sack of the season against the Jets when he tackled Brady Cook for a 12-yard loss. The Player of the Week is brought to you by Cross Insurance, the official insurance broker of the New England Patriots.
We still got some business to finish, but when they put us on the road, we started in Miami, we finished in New York. Okay, and it was a great team win and a lot of great efforts, and everybody helped us. Okay, but I'm glad we got number 10 pulling the trigger.
We're back in the Bob's Discount Furniture studio, as seen in the Patriots locker room in East Rutherford at MetLife Stadium after their 8th win in as many road games this season. Mike Vrabel giving the football to Drake May, first quarterback since at least 1950 to lead a team to that many wins on the road in succession in his first or second season. And the artwork for that football from Stick the Patriots Equipment Man actually started very early in the season. A job well done to go 8-0 on the road, only the third Patriots team to do it. Brian, what does that do for the Patriots psychologically if they've got to go on the road? We know they're home for the first game, at least in the playoffs. They got to go on the road, even a mile high.
Yeah, I think one of the messages to the Patriots teams that I was on is we'll play anyone, anywhere, at any time. And I think with what they've done on the road this year, they have to have confidence no matter who they end up playing down this playoff stretch that, hey, it doesn't matter. We can win at home. We can definitely win on the road. We don't care what the situation is. I feel confident that if they have to go into Denver, they match up pretty well with the Broncos.
Well, let's talk about some of the potential matchups in the playoff field. You've got a division that's still undecided, the AFC North. Ravens and the Steelers showdown in Pittsburgh for the AFC North Championship. And then, of course, you've got Jacksonville, the Patriots, and the Broncos at the top of the conference in reverse order. You got Houston playing so well coming in, and as well the Chargers, who are going to rest Justin Herbert this weekend. Yeah. Let's handicap that playoff field.
I mean, I could make a case for just about any one of those teams. I mean, if Denver gets that number 1 seed, I mean, that's always a tough place to play, and that's probably, for an 8-0 road team, that's like the final frontier to go into Denver and win a playoff game there. We saw a couple Patriots seasons end there. But overall, I don't think that there's anybody that the Patriots should fear. I think it's just going to come down to the quarterback and the day. You know, certainly the Chargers seem like the potential matchup right now, and you look at Justin Herbert, going to get rested in the final game, a little bit banged up. They've had major offensive line issues, but still, it's Justin Herbert. He's a very good player that could lead his team. Same thing with C.J. Stroud, right on down the list. There's a lot of talent, but I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite. Love to have home field, but otherwise, I think it's an open field.
Houston scares is the one team that I look at, and I'm like, okay, C.J. Stroud now understands Nick Caley's offense. They're firing on all cylinders. The defense, I mean, I don't know the stats, but when I watch that defense as opposed to that Broncos defense, I'm like, I don't know which one's better. Yeah. You know, for me, the preferred first-round game would make L.A. fly all the way out to Boston, have it be super cold. We know that Herbert's banged up. He's playing with a cast on his hand. Their offensive line is banged up. Their defense is still good. Derwin James always scares you, but I would love for that to be that first opening game for this Patriots team, their first playoff game together here at home.
I think the question is just what's the Patriots defense going to look like when you get to week 1, and how healthy really are those guys? But if you could get Milt Williams back, I think he's such a key piece up front. He's so disruptive. He makes plays in the backfield. I think my biggest concern, just looking at the 2 edge positions and how healthy is Harold Landry going to be? Are you ready to roll with K'Lavon Chaisson and Elijah Ponder, a young guy, you know, not really ideal run-stopping kind of guy? So big question about what the defense is going to look like in the postseason.
All right, in light of some of those health questions for the Patriots, we'll come back and preview the Dolphins game and their approach in the regular season finale right after this. We continue on Patriots This Week to preview week number 18 and the Pats' regular season finale against the Miami Dolphins. Guys, the Dolphins started out at 2-7. They fired their general manager, Chris Greer. They retained head coach Mike McDaniel. He might be saving his job with the way the team has played down the stretch for the most part, including a win over Tampa Bay. Thoughts about the Dolphins, who the Pats haven't seen since week 2?
Well, I just start with Devon Achane. I think he's a really great player, and that's just something with the Patriots' run defense and some backups in there. If there's a route maybe for the Dolphins to make some noise and maybe make this game interesting, I think it's probably going to go through Achane. So shutting him down, putting the game on Quinn Ewers' arm, I think it's a good strategy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you have to come into this game with the same mentality you had against the Jets. It doesn't matter who we're playing. Their season's over. Our season's just starting. Let's go out there and play to our standard. Take their will early. I can promise you, I've been on these teams before. The cars are started in the parking lot back in Miami. They want to get back healthy. They want to make sure that they don't go out there and do anything to hurt their career for the next season. Take their will early. It's going to be cold. I wouldn't expect the starters to play past halftime if they go in with the lead like they had against the Jets.
Well, speaking of the starters, who do you expect to start if Milton Williams is up and active, if Robert Spillane is ready to go, and some of those other players who've been absent of late? Do you think Mike Vrabel wants to get them into action? Will Campbell would be another, I think, in that category, potentially.
I think you'd love to get them in there if they're able to go, maybe just at least to knock some of the rust off. You don't want to have to come right out. I think it was 2015, Edelman and Gronk were hurt all year, and then you got to the playoffs, and you're like, okay, who's ready to go? If they're able to go, I think we'd like to have them out there, but we'll see what happens with Will Campbell just coming off of IR.
Drake May, the quarterback, the most valuable piece, of course, for the Patriots. Yeah. Is he the most valuable player in 2025?
Look, I'm class of 2009 with Matthew Stafford. He was the first pick. I was undrafted. I loved what he's been able to do, but I think when you look at what most valuable player means, I think Drake May has been that. And look, there's a lot of numbers that back it up. I mean, he has, in a lot of areas, he is ranked higher than Stafford. And so ultimately, this league is what have you done lately? And it's not a lifetime achievement award. I think people might feel this may be Stafford's last chance. You have to go with what the kid has done this year. And honestly, when I watched him play this past week, I thought no one's playing the position better right now than Drake May. So I would give it to him if I had a vote.
Stafford with a tough couple of games in succession, but a lot of people will say and have said, well, he played against the tougher schedule. How much do you think that factors in?
Well, it's a little bit of a factor, but ultimately I think Brian's right. It's the most valuable player. It's not the offensive player of the year. It's the guy who's most valuable to his team. And just the eyeball test. I mean, we could run down all the stats and the QBR and all that kind of stuff. You watch this kid play, and he's lighting defenses up with downfield passing accuracy. I mean, it's so hard to stop. It's been fun to watch. Drake May's the MVP.
I think the best thing about it, too, is he generally does not seem to care all that much about the MVP award, unless maybe it's the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I hope
to go before that.
I hope he gets the award, but he can't be there in person to accept it. Let's just put it that way.
All right, we'll continue with their predictions right after this.
Patriots This Week is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots. By DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots. And by Sports Illustrated Tickets, 50 million sports, concerts, and theater tickets. 0 fees. Fans deserve better. Visit sitickets.com today.
There is no safer fantasy start than Derrick Henry. With the Ravens QB situation up in the air, expect King Henry to carry the Baltimore offense with a playoff berth on the line in Pittsburgh. But this is not the week to start Bryce Young. The Panthers are in a must-win or go home in Tampa this week. Find another quarterback to go with in Week 18. The Jaguars are another team that needs to win this week, so don't sleep on Trevor Lawrence. The Jags QB could have a big game against a soft Titans defense when Tennessee comes to Jacksonville. This week's fantasy picks are brought to you by Verizon.
How we wrap things up on Patriots This Week, not only for this edition, but for the season. So no pressure, Mike and Brian. Zoe wasn't perfect, Mike, but we're expecting you to be. Who's going to win? Who's the game changer this weekend, Pats Dolphins?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots. I don't think it's quite the blowout that we saw last week against the Jets. I think the Dolphins still have some talent. Maybe those buses are getting warmed up, though, here in a late December game. So I'll take the Patriots 28-17. And I'm going to say Milton Williams comes back, makes an impact, doesn't play long, but knocks some rust off, at least enough to make you think when you get to the playoffs, you're going to have your best defensive lineman ready to go.
All right, Brian.
I agree. I think Patriots win, not as much as last week. I go 35-14. And I'm going to go with Kyle Williams. I love what I see from the progression from him. I think they get him the ball early, kind of focus on him. And then even if Drake comes out of the game, he stays in. Maybe Dobbs throws him a touchdown or two, but the Patriots win, they handle business, and they're on to the playoffs.
All right, for Mike Dussault and Brian Hoyer, I'm Bob Socci. For everybody here at Patriots This Week, in fact, have a wonderful new year. We'll talk to you again in the fall of 2026. All the best, everybody. Thanks so much. So long.